What are you like looking for? What are the 3 things that you're like, bang, bang, bang? They don't have this? No. How are you so cutthroat? That's really what I want to.
Well, I think we look at like everyone's with like a fresh set of eyes, because sometimes there are those diamonds in the rough. Like we were talking earlier about having a unicorn, right? That can do everything. Like we don't want, well, we want someone who is versatile, of course, but we're not looking for that, web dev experience necessarily.
Right.
But we don't want a one-trick pony, right? If you have agency experience, that alone is not enough.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to Happy Clients.
E2M is a proud sponsor of the Happy Clients Podcast. If you're running a digital agency, you know the hardest part isn't getting clients. It's delivering consistently without burning out your team or hurting margins. E2M helps agencies scale confidently as a behind-the-scenes, white-label fulfillment partner. From web development and SEO to paid media, US-based content, e-commerce, and even AI, they plug into your agency so your clients get great results under your brand. No freelancers, no chaos, just reliable delivery that helps you keep clients happy and growing. Find out how E2M can support your agency at e2msolutions.com/dot. We're going to Google account manager at agency job description. Are you ready for this? This is AI overview.
Okay.
An agency account manager acts as the primary liaison between clients and internal creative/technical teams, ensuring client satisfaction, project success, and revenue growth. Well, I thought this was going to be a bust, but that's pretty bang on.
It's pretty bang on. Pretty bang on. It misses, some of the bigger key things, like, when it comes to clients and managing those relationships, like what kind of is involved there.
Here's another one. Agency account managers keep the customer and the agency satisfied. They typically handle a handful of advertising and marketing accounts and serve as the primary point of agency contact for their clients. They also represent the client at agency meetings. Their job is to communicate both good and bad news to a client, answer questions, and make certain they receive what they asked for as part of their agency agreement. That's pretty bang on.
That's pretty bang on too.
It's a challenging role, requiring a careful balance between the client's needs, wants, and priorities and the agency's bottom line. They play a crucial role in client retention, as well as potentially bringing in new business as part of an existing client referral process.
I think one of the problems that a lot of job descriptions have is they're kind of just buzzwordy.
Yeah.
Like anybody can be like, I'm organized and I love talking to clients and I'm good at prioritizing. But I think that's something that we have broken down in our hiring process is like, okay, but what does that look like? Like what does organized look like in an agency? What does building client relationships look like in an agency? And we sort of like take it that step further to say like, how do you build relationships with clients? What does that look like to you versus just like, I talk to clients and there's the relationship. It's not that simple.
No. So from your perspective, Jenna and Jill, you both hire. Like that's a huge part of your role is hiring new account managers. What are the skills you're looking for beyond what's in a traditional job description for an account manager?
Yeah, I think adaptability, is a really key thing that we're looking for, because we're in environments that are shifting all the time.
Yeah.
We're in agencies that are on varying stages of growth, and depending on, your particular skills as a CAM, you might be matched with, we want to match you with an agency that's going to fit your skills, and they might be in a different area, a different stage of growth. So you have to be able to be flexible and adapt through the changes that are happening there, as well as keeping that adaptability for the flexibility between your agencies too. So that's a really important part. I would also say curiosity, because we want that ownership mindset so that we're thought leaders and we're owning our own path when we're coming to our careers inside of these agencies. So not even just for that, but also to understand the clients, because that is your focus, is the client support. So if you're not curious about what they're doing or curious about problem solving, even though we're not here for the strategy, that's not our main focus. We want to be the person that is supporting the growth in every way that we can. So that's also an important thing, that curiosity, that wanting more.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of this role is strong interpersonal skills. It's not as simple as, like I was saying earlier, just like I like talking to clients, we look for things like, are you able to make people feel heard even when the answer is no? Or in difficult conversations, are you able to listen, acknowledge, come up with a plan, even if you don't have the time to prepare before or somebody completely catches you off guard? How do you walk away from that situation? Are you good at not taking it personally, understanding that you are the person that's responsible for how they feel, think, perceive the agency? And on top of that as well, it's those sort of like deeper interpersonal skills, but also just organization. Like we've said since the beginning, we love the people that like can't stand to see their inbox full, need to get to inbox 0, check things off their list. But in more of a proactive way, even looking at like the days, the weeks ahead, looking at what's happening with this client next month, what do I need to get on top of, and not necessarily just sort of like ticking boxes, but anticipating those needs as well. I always say to my team, the things that feel really organic, like gifting or checking in, can actually be something that you put in project management. And it might not feel authentic to be like, check in with this client to see how they're feeling, or see if I can find an article that reminds me of this client in your project management system. But I think that's the type of mindset that we look for, is like you can create those moments that feel really like unintentional, but they can actually be planned and intentional.
Yeah. And that's the timing of it too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just about, oh, well, I think I should check in with this person, I'll do it right now.
Yes.
Now may not be the right time, right? So thinking about and understanding your client, and that's that curiosity element, right? Knowing when you should reach out and why you should reach out at that point too.
Yeah. It's like building a muscle, I think. At first, it needs to be a little bit more planned and maybe more intentional. Eventually, it can be like, I know this client, I know what they want, I know when they want to hear from me.
It's the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. You built a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes to you or they apply to work at Dot as an account manager, what are like the top, like if you're scanning somebody's job, like resume, what are you like looking for? Like, what are the 3 things that you're like, bang, bang, bang? They don't have this? No. How are you so cutthroat? Maybe that's really what I want to.
Well, I think we look at like everyone's with like a fresh set of eyes, because sometimes there are those diamonds in the rough. Like we were talking earlier about having a unicorn, right? That can do everything. Like we don't want, well, we want someone who is versatile, of course, but we're not looking for that, web dev experience necessarily.
Right.
But we don't want a one-trick pony. Right. If you have agency experience, that alone is not enough, right? Because we want to see you demonstrate your ability to grow accounts, right? To be looking at those things critically, how you manage relationships, even longevity inside of, any company that you've been with before. That's really important, because when we're building these relationships with clients and with agencies, you want to be around for a long time, right? Because if you're going to invest that amount of time, there has to be a longer payoff for you as the CAM also.
Yeah. I think we've built out our process too to be to mimic exactly what we're trying to find in terms of the balance between marketing and soft skills. So we do have an opportunity to see them speak and hear them and see their facial expressions, and do they feel warm? Do they feel happy? Do they feel inviting? And often it's that gets us excited first. Yeah. And then we sort of look at their resume and go, okay, they do have these skills, maybe not perfectly. But if they have the agency experience, they have some background in marketing, then it at least warrants us wanting to have a conversation with them. I think if we have maybe the latter, we have somebody that has an amazing resume, they stand out in terms of their experience, but we see that Loom video where we have a conversation and we don't feel that like pull or that warmth or that they can talk to anybody sort of energy, then we're a little bit more dissuaded to bring them onto the team, just purely because, again, we want people that feel really excited and energized by the role, because it is very people facing. Yeah. So we want you to love talking to people. That's like, that has to be there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. It's always been a balance for us of the two.
Yeah. So it sounds like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. No, yeah.
If you show up on the video and you're like all bubbles, you're warm, you're just like us, but you have no marketing experience or not enough, or you don't have agency experience, that's not gonna, it's not the skills that we're looking for in an account manager role, and vice versa. Yeah. If you have all the experience, but you show up on video and like
No personality, no bubbles.
Yeah.
Not
I
happy
think-
to be there.
Yeah, that's something that I think like comes with maybe some experience too, and just understanding the type of industry that we're in. Like this is not a corporate industry.
Yeah.
We conduct ourselves very professionally, but also we want to be able to have a conversation about the weather, your kids, what
Yeah.
you're doing this
Yeah.
weekend. It's all supposed to be like, it's part of that. It's part of building that relationship. So if you jump on the interview and you feel like, it feels like a stuffy conversation and there's no rapport back and forth,
Yeah.
then we can't picture you speaking to our clients' clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Can we put you in front of an agency owner, and are we confident that you're going to be able to have successful conversations, not only with the agency owner, but with their clients?
Yeah.
And I think we know, like, if we get on to that first interview, we know within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 minutes, really.
Yeah.
Like, is this person going to be able to do it?
Yeah. But if
You have that gut
anything, I
feeling.
think like I hope this encourages people to show up to them as themselves to
Yes.
the interviews and
Yes.
don't feel like you need to put on a face or try to be super professional. We really want to see like who you are and how you show up in your day to day. And I think that's going to be the most beneficial to you in this type of career. Of course, every job in marketing is different, but in account management, we want to see who you are.
Yes. Yes. Because you're dealing with people, right?
Yeah.
It's a relationship building, and you can't build a relationship if you're not being yourself.
Yeah. I think this is a good reminder, because back to looking at those job descriptions, that looks like any other job in any other business.
Yeah.
Totally.
And the account management role is so unique and so important with an agency. You have to have so many different skills going into it. You can't just be like good at one technical thing, or it's bringing all these skills together into what makes account management so cool. Cool. Well, if you're thinking about applying, keep this in mind. We're looking for not only experience, but the personality, which is you.
Yes.
So bring it, and we can't wait to meet you. If you are interested in applying to work at DOT, we'll leave the link below. But maybe you're just looking to become an account manager in any agency. So hopefully this helps you kind of remind you that this is a very personal role within an agency. So you have to show up as yourself. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode. And thank you, Jenna and Jill, for coming back on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Happy Clients Podcast.
Cheers to happy clients.